That's so thrilling. And that kind of proof to yourself is invaluable when it comes to just pressing forward and finding that motivation. So, make sure you don't have that fear of acting overtake you, and don't mix up the whole accomplishing things for actually getting results. And what I mean by that is it's really easy to be like, oh, well, I read 10 blogs today, so I got something done. It's like, okay, well, what did you do with that information? So just, keep those things in mind.
Okay, so the solution, act fast and take consistent action.
All right. Number 4 is the fourth reason why people don't succeed is that they're not willing to make it a priority. Now, there's 2 phrases that we all hear on a consistent basis. And, your friends or your family might say it to you. And I'm sure you've said it to many people. I know I say it sometimes too. And that is, I don't have the time or I don't have the money. And, over time, I've learned that these 2 phrases essentially mean it's just not really a priority for me. When I hear myself saying that, or when I hear somebody else saying that to me, what I immediately interpret in my mind is, it's just not a priority for me. And that's okay. You know what? That might be fine as long as the person knows that it's not a priority and they're making that conscious decision and it's not, an excuse or whatever. And I definitely try to make sure that when I hear myself saying, oh, I don't have the time, I try to evaluate in that moment. It's like, okay, am I just saying that, is this really important enough to me that I should make the time? I guess what I'm trying to say is, as long as you're being deliberate about your priorities and hence about the usage of your money and time in those priorities, fine. But, it's so easy to just rattle off those phrases. Oh, I don't have the time. Oh, later when I got the time. Oh, maybe when I got a little more money, that, they also become, excuses or just these things that we throw out there as, well, yeah, basically as excuses. So, that can really be dangerous. So just be deliberate about your priorities and pay attention to when you say those, I don't have time or I don't have money, and even when you do kind of get into some action and maybe spending a little bit of time or a little bit of money on these things, the problem then is that you might treat it more like a hobby than really a business. And maybe you can explain a little what I mean by this. I know you'd like talking about how there was a point in Internet Business Mastery. I remember you one day saying, you know what, we're treating this like a hobby. So maybe you can explain a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, there's 2 things I was going to mention. The first was, I've got a friend here in Salt Lake that every time I talk to him, he just loves talking about the internet business. He's just got a regular day job, cubicle job, but wants to do internet business so bad. And every time we talked for the last 3 years, he asks me all about it and wants me to tell him about it. And when I say, oh, so have you done the thing I mentioned last time? He'll go, I just don't have the time yet. But then later in the conversation, he'll talk about the 6 hours he spent last week playing the new video game online. And that's where we're saying too, I mean, he just obviously hasn't made that a priority. And I just wanted to mention that really quick first. And then as far as Internet Business Mastery, yeah, it was a couple years in, and in fact, it was a hobby at first. But then when we decided that we wanted to, actually, we saw that it was growing in popularity and people were listening and loving it and emailing us about it. And, we were getting noticed for it. We decided to turn it into a business, but we were still kind of treating it the same way we did when it was just a podcast that we did for fun, which when you're going to do something as a business, it's very different than a hobby. Even if you're doing a business about a hobby, you still got to treat it as a business. So that's kind of what we were talking about. We had to both finally decide, okay, this is our priority as one of our internet businesses.
Something else comes to mind as we're talking about this, and that is, I think it might have been last week or maybe the week before. I was chatting a little bit with one of the members of the Internet Business Mastery Academy, and he said, I'm loving the Internet Business Mastery Academy, and he was telling me a couple of things that he liked that we had added to it and stuff. And then he says, funny thing is, I've been thinking about canceling my cable TV in order to save some money and force me to focus on my business building. And then right after that, he says, but I cannot imagine ever canceling my Internet Business Mastery Academy membership. And he said, so hopefully that's good for you to hear. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, I love hearing that, but mostly just because that says a lot about you. And I know you're going to be able to succeed. And, sure, that means it's somebody else who's paying us money for the academy, but even more so, it's awesome. I mean, that says so much about the priorities, and this whole, I don't have time or I don't have money. I mean, not that it's bad to watch a TV show now and again, but it's just, there he was making a deliberate statement about his priorities. priorities. He's like, look, it matters to me to have my business grow, and the Academy is having an impact on my life, so I would rather cancel my cable TV than cancel, my membership in the Academy. So he was making a deliberate choice about his priorities, and one that I think is very geared towards absolutely succeeding in his internet business. So number 4 was not willing to make it a priority. And what is our solution for this?
Decide what your priorities are and make sacrifices accordingly.
All right, so there are the first 4 of the 7 reasons why people fail and how you can avoid every single one of them. We're going to go ahead and say we're splitting this into a 2-parter because it is something that deserves the time to go through each of them thoroughly. And so we'll be back for part 2 of the 7 reasons in the next episode for the final 3 reasons why why people often do not succeed in the internet business and how you can avoid those pitfalls yourself. But in the meantime, we definitely encourage you to evaluate those first 4 there and look at those solutions and see if one of those is not possibly holding you up right now from reaching the next level, whether it's getting started or just reaching the next level in your internet business, and implement that solution right away.
It's time for the Internet Business Quick Tip.
Right, on this episode's Internet Business Quick Tip, we got a little tool that we've actually been diving into even much more lately. I mean, it's something we've been running on our sites for quite some time, but lately with the kind of moving things forward with the Academy and our marketing, it's been very critical to get more diligent about testing and tracking, a very critical element in any marketing and sales campaign. So you've got to have good metrics, good statistics on your site. And our chosen tool for this is Google Analytics, which can provide probably more information than most people need about their website. There's lots of stuff in Google. I'm always discovering new little corners and nooks and crannies of the Google Analytics system that are, some more fascinating than others. But, at the very least, it's an easy way to know where's your traffic coming from, how long are people, spending time on your site. And even recently I discovered that it'll tell you, give you an analysis, an overlay analysis of, say, your homepage or something and where people are clicking, similar to Crazy Egg, which is something else we've talked about in the past quick tip. So lots of great stuff with Google Analytics, and it is free, as many of the great Google tools are. So if you've got a free Google account set up, you can go ahead and just start that up on your own site. So to go to Google Analytics, it's analytics.google.com. That's ANALYTICS, analytics, not the easiest word to remember, but or if you just type in, Google for Google Analytics, it'll come up as well. So highly recommend getting that set up on your site if you don't have some form of stats or metrics. Testing and tracking is critical. So get that going. Even now, even if you're not in a mode of analyzing those things and doing anything with it, even if it's a year down the road, it'll be great to have the historical data that you can look at and help you make some decisions when you are ready to use that kind of information.
All right, now if you'd like dozens of other resources such as this one, you can find them at Internet Business Mastery Academy, along with video tutorials showing you exactly how we use them. And if you'd like to get a 30-day no-risk trial membership to the Internet Business Mastery Academy, visit freeaudiogift.com. And that's it for this episode of Internet Business Mastery. Until next time, we wish you ultimate success in your internet business.
You've been listening to the iconoclasts of the 9 to 5 and the purveyors of freedom and fulfillment, Sterling and Jay. Sterling and Jay invite you to discover one of their most popular audio programs ever. The 3 pillars of designing your ultimate internet lifestyle. Visit freeaudiogift.com now and sign up for the free weekly Internet Business Mastery email newsletter. And you'll get instant access to this life-changing audio presentation, pulled directly from the content of the acclaimed Internet Business Mastery Academy membership community. Go now to freeaudiogift.com. Internet Business Mastery. Free your mind.